all of your clients are going to run into the problems that you could solve as a consultant. And the only difference is, instead of saying, oh, suck it up, buttercup, wish you luck, you just say, okay, well, let me actually figure out a way that I could solve this problem.
All right, what's up, guys? This is Nick with Consulting Profits, and I have Daniel on today. He did a video with me probably, a few months ago now.
Yeah.
And we're going again. So this is round 2. Be cool to see what you've done in the business so far. Obviously, I know, but I think it's super exciting that everyone's going to get to see as well. We can also touch on the mastermind you were recently at with me here as well, which was super sick. So I'm excited to dive in. But Daniel, for people who maybe don't know who you are, give them a bit of an intro on what you do and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Shit. Yeah, just cut this part. I was gonna say an additional intro. I don't know why. Okay, yeah. So I help roofers grow and scale their businesses with growth consulting. So we do the entire package from the marketing aspect all the way to like growing and scaling and hiring funnels and helping them with their organic, their website traffic, everything that they need in order to be inside of more houses, book more jobs, close more jobs, and then scale from then on. So how are they going to hire? How are they going to implement new trainings, develop new SOPs, and those kinds of things? So we really help with the systems, the processes, the marketing, the sales. We're a full service solution. And that's only been something that I've been able to develop by working with you and learning about how to genuinely become a really well-rounded consultant. So, I do you want me to jump into my story of how I started as agency owner yet?
Yeah.
Or do you
Jump
want me?
in. Let's jump into the agency owner part. Well, first off, actually, as a
Sure.
consultant, why don't you tell us your revenue and how much you've grown? Because I'm sure people love that side of it, and then we'll dive into like the context of that all.
Yeah. So when I was a agency, I was doing like maybe 5K a month, pretty consistently. But I still had clients, but I wasn't charging enough, and I wasn't really giving them a full enough solution for them to want to stick. So when I switched to consulting, I developed a way stickier process, a way stickier system that people love to stay with. And I was able to scale from 5K to, you and I were just talking before this Zoom. I'm about to hit probably 50K this month. So that's like almost a 10x in the last, I guess the summer plus 2 months, right? So
Yeah.
maybe like 5 months, I've been able to 10x from 5K to nearly 50K. I'm very confident that I'll probably be doing like 40 to 50K consistently come like December
Yeah, that's
at
sick.
minimum. Right.
50K
Yeah.
cash collected.
Yeah, cash collected. Right,
Cash
right, right. Not
collected.
not even in contracts. Like
Yeah.
that's 50K cash collect this month. I mean, it's like 40, 45, but we're almost there, right? We'll probably be at 50 in the next week if at the trajectory that I'm going right now.
We're
So
only 2 weeks into the month, so
yeah, there you go, right?
no,
Yeah.
that's super sick, dude. And then like in terms of profit margins, I think this is super important to touch on because a lot of the time the agency owners I talk to, they're running like 20%, 25% profit margins and investing into all these crazy things. From what I know, your margins are pretty high.
Well, yeah. When I wanted to like fully build out the proper consulting piece, I wanted to also make sure that I wasn't building a worse job for myself. So, um, a big thing about it is like being able to find more foolproof solutions that take less energy from me, but I could either outsource or automate, um, and then increase my profitability. So not only have I become way more profitable, but also I've gotten a lot more time back. So like it's honestly an easier job for me and I make a lot more. And yeah, I mean I've gone from like I was probably charging like 1,000 to 1,500 a month. And then outsourcing about and then having to pay like 50% of that to either outsource maybe the ads or the video creation, whatever it is. Um, and so I was going from like 50% margins to like uh now I charge about 3,500 a month. and I've been able to keep things like, maybe it cost me about 500 a month in variable costs, whereas my fixed costs are dancing at like maybe like $2,000 to $4,000 a month max. Includes all the softwares, people that we have, like the video editors and everyone else that helps us get results for our clients. But like the biggest the yeah, I mean, going from the biggest thing for me is like going from $1,000 a client to 3,500 a month
Yeah.
is incredible, right? And I've been able to have so much more wiggle room to be able to actually provide results, hire more people, implement more systems, and get my actual process better for my clients because I've been able to charge more, which justifies charging more. So
Yeah.
the prices have continued to increase, and so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5K by January, 5K a
100%. I
month.
mean, we
Yeah,
recently talked about increasing your prices and stuff like that, which is great that you did. And it's huge. It's an easy way for you to, like, I think it allows you to provide a better service for your clients,
yeah,
which is proven by like how much more you're doing for your clients, but also better margins for you. So you need less clients in order to grow, which in turn allows you to focus on your clients better as well. So it's a good flywheel.
right,
But yeah,
exactly.
that's sweet, dude. So let's kind of go into the journey from agency to consultant, and we can dive into like the differences between that. Because I think now that you've switched over to consulting for the past few months, you've really like understood it and really built your offer around that. So to give context on that, like agency owners right now are very commoditized. Like it's very easy for anyone to toss up ads or very simple services, right? Like SEO, website design, things like that. It's a race to the bottom because the barrier of entry is so low and your offer is not unique at all. So when we talk about like consulting and things like that, it's really coming up with more solutions so that way your offer is not only unique, but it actually helps your client in a way that just solves the entire piece and solves the entire problem, right? You're providing a full-blown
Right.
solution, which is what business owners want. They don't want to just have leads coming in. They don't want just one piece of the puzzle. They need the full solution. And as you start to create more solutions, and always call it like leveraged fulfillment, you create like one solution for a problem and it's leveraged across all your clients. That's when your offer basically becomes like super unique, but also really leveraged. So that way, like Daniel was saying, you're not just spending all your time in your business. Like you're doing all this fun stuff and also being able to run the business, and it's a good balance. So a good example of that is even like, for example, we were just talking about this, like getting a video editor and getting that off your plate. And now
Yeah.
you have that. It took a while to create that solution, or not even that long, less than a week. But now you, across all your clients, you have a video editor, and that just saves you so much time. Plus, they're
Yeah.
probably going to get better results because it's just a leveraged solution for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of exactly what you said. Um, I found to be really true. It's like when I'm able to find these different solutions for like one of my clients, like as an agency owner, you all of your clients are going to run into the problems that you could solve as a consultant. And the only difference is instead of saying, "Oh, suck it up, Buttercup, wish you luck," you just say, "Okay, well, let me actually figure out a way that I could solve this problem." And when I started to develop different solutions for just one client, I realized, wait, I could duplicate that and like commoditize it and like be able to allow for every single one of my clients and all new clients to be able to get that solution. And so anytime one of my roofers has an issue, we develop a solution and then we roll it out across the board. And so now it's like I have this positive flywheel of like anytime a roofer has a question or needs some sort of different solution, I add it to my offer and then I increase my price. And so
Literally.
I've been yeah, I've been able to scale my price and my offer and get better results over the last few months so quickly because I just pay a little bit more attention, right? It's like you're still able to do a lot of the things that you were able to do as an agency owner, but now instead of like just being like, okay, yeah, well, good luck figuring out that solution or go hire someone else or whatever, I just say, you know what, let me handle it. Let's figure out a way to work this out. Once you figure that out, duplicate it and then sell it to everyone. And it works well. And then the best part for me is being able to justify the price increase, because I noticed that the results get so much better as I provide so many more solutions to every single problem that's out there. And it's you know, it's a lot more fulfilling, honestly, to be able to run a business that genuinely gets people good results. And I think that's the biggest thing for like agencies is like they might run into like, I've been burnt by agencies before, they're all scams, all this and that. But that's because they only provide such a very tiny itty bitty piece of the puzzle, rather than actually like the whole service. And so the client is left having to fend for themselves. But as a consultant, you give them everything to make it impossible for them to fail. That's the way that I like to think
Yeah.
about it. And it's great, right? And then that's why I get so many testimonials. That's why we have, the results that we get, and I can charge as much as I do because it works, because I provide those solutions to make it impossible for them to fail.
I totally agree, dude. Yeah. I mean, like, so as your job should be literally just listening to your clients, hearing what problems they're running into, developing solutions. And like now you've done that for the past few months.
Yeah.
It's very tough to replicate your offer. Whereas
Yeah,
like
I
with like an agency owner, if you just like, especially you see those ads where it's like, get 30 leads or you don't pay. Like, dude, I could go toss that ad up in 5 minutes and copy that if I wanted to. But like with your offer, literally, like I wouldn't even I helped you develop the offer and I would struggle to copy it.
yeah, I mean, and I tell my roofers that too. I tell them like, listen, like you can go and get you could go take calls all day long with everyone in the industry. There's not a single company in the industry that does what we do as well as we do.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the beautiful thing. It's like you're making an offer of one, and it's impossible for someone to be a price shopper because there's no one else that can offer the same thing, let alone at a competitive price, right?
Yeah. So compare this to agency owner days. Like I mean, what were the things you were running into in comparison to like now? So you were charging less, closing less, not getting as
Yeah,
good of results.
right. Yeah. So all of that's true. I was charging less. I was scared to talk to my clients because I thought that their results were gonna suck, so I never wanted to get their input. And I was closing less because I had an offer that they've heard a bajillion times. And so the biggest thing for me was figuring out how I can off the bat set the expectation that I'm not like anything they've ever interacted with. And so even in my messaging now, that's what I tell them. I say, listen, I understand that you're getting like thousands of these every day, hundreds, whatever, dozens. Um, you've never seen what I have, right? I can send you a quick video. And then that's the whole VSL thing, right? That we talked about at the mastermind.
Hmm.
But I've been doing that for months, just setting myself apart, and it's an absolute game changer because the conversation on the sales calls as an agency owner was all about price and getting leads and like focusing so minutely on like I want high quality leads in these neighborhoods and this and that. Whereas as a consultant, the conversation is about value and how much I can help their business grow. And yes, we're going to get them tons of leads and put them in tons of houses, but it's less about like very specific. You need to make sure that you're getting me 30 leads a month and you work for me. And it's, and
Hmm.
it's more like, listen, we're going to work together as a team and we're going to help you grow and scale this thing. We might have a month where it's a little bit slower with the leads, but the side effect of all of our ads and our videos are really going to take full effect. Your door to door is going to be more successful when you open the door and they're like, wait a second, I know you. I just saw you on my phone 5 minutes ago.
Or in
and
your case, your client ended up on the news, which is like insane.
yeah, exactly. Or they end up on the local news from the content that we run for them. We'll notice as well, like when there's a storm that hits, even if they didn't get tons of leads through the Facebook, they get tons of calls on their website and from, coming just straight into the office because they saw us on Facebook before. They saw us on Facebook before and they're like the first thing on their mind. My roofers are the first thing on anyone's mind because of these things, right? And so the conversation on the sales calls is about value and how we help them grow and scale in like actual logistics of what's going to happen rather than like talking about guarantees and um rather than like talking about guarantees and lowest price and giving me deals. That's what they're asking for as an agency owner. Excuse me. Cut that out, please. There, we're focusing mostly on the conversation. The conversation is focusing mostly on just the actual value and the logistics of what it looks like moving forward. Such an easy close. It's so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that they've never heard of. And this is like the crazy thing is, as well as like in what people say are notoriously broke niches or like local is hard to charge high ticket pricing in and things like that. You're coming into a time now where, well, we talked about this when you're at the mastermind. You're like, I just keep getting paid in full. It's like people just keep paying me in full. I'm like, man, raise your prices. It's about time to raise your prices. So when your offer is dialed in, people will pay. Like, I think that's what people don't understand is when you're getting all these objections, because you probably heard it too when you were charging like 1,500 a month for just lead gen. People were like, I can't afford that, or whatever, right? Give you
Yeah.
like some kind of financial objection, which is honestly just an easier way for them of them basically saying your offer kind of sucks and I just don't want it.
Yeah, sure. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was tons of I can't afford it or it's too much or what's a better price or what's the guarantee. As an agency owner, that's all they asked.
Yeah.
Now, as a consultant, I never get that. They're just like do how do I pay you? Is it like a check or a link? And it's just a link. I'll send it to you right now.
No big deal.
And then they pay in full, right? They
Yeah.
love it. They
Yeah.
prefer it. So
Cool. So yeah, no, I mean, I think that stuff is really cool. Positioning yourself as a consultant, your offer is very unique, and your clients are getting better results, and that's just showing now too in how many inbound leads you're getting and people coming to you, and your close rate is super high. You obviously have way more conviction in what you're selling as well, which makes
yeah.
that 10 times easier to go into a call. Like I talk to agency owners and they don't say this, but I know they don't believe in what they're selling, so they don't
Yeah, that's
believe.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I you can't sell if you don't believe in what you're selling, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. Which is why they don't close and which is why a lot of
Yeah.
agency owners struggle. But, that's why I think like the switch to consulting is very important, especially as we go into, especially in saturated industries where there's so many marketers. That's really the only way to differentiate yourself, but it's also like what's best for the client and you. Like now your days are more focused on like high level problems. You're not in the ads manager messing around with stuff or doing anything.
Yeah.
You're like thinking about, oh, how can I get my client the best offer? What kind of content can I create? Or how, let me go hire the best video editor so my clients can have the best videos for their marketing. Like all of these higher level problems. And then we also introduce like helping them with like converting the leads into appointments with AI and stuff like that. And most agency
Right.
owners are just like spending their time in and the ads manager still like fiddling around with ads, not really like making their offer better, not really developing solutions, not having high level conversations with their clients to create more solutions for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that like if they're spending their entire day doing those kinds of activities, then they're not like a genuine business owner yet, right?
Yeah.
Like they've just created an additional job. They work from home, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Probably pays less than a job too.
yeah, exactly right. So the idea for me always has been like I want to build a genuine business that I own, not I work in.
Yeah.
Not creating an additional job, but creating an actual business that provides opportunities and changes people's lives on every end of the spectrum, right? Like me getting the best results for my clients means that I get to hire more people, which gets to change my employees' lives or my contractors' lives, and it also changes the lives of my actual clients. And so the biggest thing I would say is like the providing a bulletproof, impossible to fail solution in any way is going to give it has given me the most conviction. Um, and so like for any agency owner that if I had to recommend anything, it's just like think about what are the biggest problems that the business is complaining to you about. We can't book these leads, they don't respond, they don't this and that. Okay, well then just implement an AI booking bot that books all the appointments for them, right? It sounds simple now, but like we didn't think about that until until not too recently, right?
Yeah.
But but like these kinds of things, and like now a big thing for me too is like for people that signed on with me and they weren't using a bot or whatever and they're having trouble booking appointments, I could just easily give them the bot and then they're booking appointments and then they're super happy campers asking for a testimonial video. They send me a testimonial video and 10 more roofers want to jump on.
It's a
So
leverage, a
it's a
leverage solution, man.
exactly right, right.
No, that's sick. So that's the thing too, right? Being able to just like come up with those solutions is so key. I know we keep pressing on that, but yeah, man, I think that's huge in playing like or plays into how quickly you've scaled up, but doing it also while you're living a pretty sick lifestyle. So maybe we jump into that a little bit. I know the past few months has been super hectic for you in terms of like travel and things like that. But yeah, man, maybe you want to touch on a little bit of how that's all changed for you.
Yeah. So when I became an agency owner, I was in college and the agency was doing enough that I thought that I could scale it. So I dropped out of college and I started traveling and living, paying for everything myself, which was a big change because before in college and high school, whatever, I made a little bit of money with smaller jobs, and then most of the money and everything was paid for by my parents, right? They were kind of weirded out when I was like, "Oh, don't renew my health insurance. I'm already paying for it. Oh, don't renew my phone. I already got a new one. Oh, don't renew my, these kinds of things." But I slowly started to become, make that transition, and then, um, I I found a little bit of a rhythm, but it was still really hard working as a agency owner. Um, it's a lot more work for a lot less pay and a lot less value that you bring to the world, right? And so when I started working with you on the consulting piece and building that out, I started having so many more resources and so much more freedom, a lot more income, that I started hiring and scaling. And so I've now been able to travel to, I don't know, maybe like 15 countries in the last year or something.
While
um,
scaling.
while scaling like crazy. I jumped from like 7 to 30K while just like chilling in Vietnam, and then and then jumped from there to like 45K now in Spain. And so,
Crazy.
being able to like have location freedom and still get fantastic results is means everything. And I've only been able to do that because I've been able to have a better solution, which I can charge more and then hire the right people so that they can do the work for me. If I were to try to do everything, the video editing, the ads manager, the this and the that, the messaging, no way, no way. My VA helps me bring on all of my clients. My media buyer, absolute goat. Okay. Without Ben, Without Ben, shout out Ben M.
Shout out
Without
Ben.
Ben, none of this would be possible, right? He's fantastic at what he does. He gets amazing results with the leads and the ads. And without this new video editor, you know what I mean? I'd be in the rubble still trying to get all this done. So yeah, I've been able to go in the last year and a half to Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Bali, Italy, Switzerland. We're going to Norway tomorrow.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to Norway tomorrow, and then we're gonna go to Prague, Czech Republic after that. Um, and we're in Barcelona, Spain right now. And yeah, I mean, we've done also like what Indonesia, Bali, tons of different places, but at the same time I've been able to scale like crazy and actually get awesome results. So it's um it's been a blessing, and it's been really really awesome to see myself, go from a college student that his whole life was funded by small jobs and parents, and then to being able to afford everything for myself and pay for two people to travel the world living like luxury. And well, not like luxury, not yet, but we're getting there. The travel part feels like luxury, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a real blessing, but I think that a lot of it comes down to me just wanting to do better and be better and actually caring about getting results. If I didn't give two craps about actually my clients seeing results, I wouldn't have the retention I have. Like
No, your retention's like
I
near
have, yeah,
100%.
yeah, I have nearly 100% retention. My roofers love me, right?
Yeah,
Because I genuinely care. Like I really care about getting them great results, and we do absolutely everything that we can to ensure that that's possible. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think just to touch back on that, I mean the travel part and everything is absolutely amazing. It's sweet because seen you grow from basically when we did our initial calls, you were in college at that time, and then
I was
now
in my
like
dorm.
just doing calls with you, and I don't even know what country you're in at this point. You're just always going somewhere. But I think a good point to make is like a huge thing like agency owners are always scared of is from a consulting piece is like coming up with the solutions. They're like, well, I'm not a roofer. Like, how do I come up with a solution? Things like that. I don't know if that was ever like a sticking point for you, but for a lot of people it is. But maybe if you can touch on that, like how you're finding, creating, and building out these solutions, that'd be good.
Yeah. My favorite strategy is when they have a problem, I say, let me figure it out. And then if I don't figure it out, then I find someone that can figure it out.
Yes.
But I kind of most of the time, if they tell me if I can solve a problem, I'll just pull an answer out of my behind and say, yeah, of course, no problem. We'll figure it out. And within a few days, I have an answer, whether it's done by me or done by someone else. And that's the beauty too of being able to charge more, is I can then hire these kinds of things out if I don't know how to do it myself. But I would say like having confidence in your ability to find a solution no matter what is important, because I know that even if I'm not able to do it, I could use the internet to find someone that's able to do it. And so it's not even confidence in myself, it's confidence in my ability to tap a few keys and then click through a few websites. You know what I mean? That's the confidence, is like I know that I can use the internet, which means that I can get a result for someone because everything's there and everyone is there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's that, but then the other piece is just listening to them. Like these guys or girls, we have a few female roofers. Their job is so complex. They're doing so many things. They're not thinking about how to increase their objection handling SOP, right? How to like improve objection handling for their sales reps, or how to do long-term nurturing and email drip campaigns and follow-ups and these kinds of things, right? And so when you actually just think about like how can I help them solve these problems that they don't really think about, then all of a sudden you're able to give them a solution. Like a huge thing for us is we have automations that go out when a homeowner like signs up with the roofer and their materials get ordered. the roofer will just drop them into the materials ordered stage on our pipeline, and it'll automatically send a text to the homeowner letting them know, like, hey, your materials have been ordered. We're super excited for your build. We'll let you know as soon as the materials arrive. The materials arrive, they drop them into that. It sends out another text, right? They need to keep track of these opportunities anyway, but you would be surprised how many roofers don't just automate it and send out SMSs to the homeowner when they're already updating the stages in their own CRM. And so that's just an easy solution. We're like, well, we could just send out a simple automation straight to the contact to let them know about all these stages as they're being updated. Um, and that alone is like a big selling point for people. They're like, wow, I've never thought about that. And it leads to tons of different like additional Google reviews and referrals, because people were like, they kept me in the loop the entire time. It was amazing. I've never worked with a company that like literally updates me every single step of the way. It was fantastic. And just by doing that little change, took me 10 seconds in the go high level. We've been able to help roofers get insane good Google reviews and these kinds of things, because they don't think about that kind of stuff. So just think about, like, these things that they're missing. Anything sales, marketing, growth related, hiring funnels, another thing. Run ads. You already know how to run ads as an agency owner. Run ads to help them find hires. Go, ask qualifying questions on the form, and then pass on 4 at a time for them to interview. Next thing you know, you now have an entire hiring funnel, which you can increase your price by like $1,000 a month. Congrats, right? Like,
Yeah, it's true, man. It's like it's not that hard. It's basically listening to your client. And I like what you said, because I don't think a lot of people think in this way. They're like, "Oh, well, I'm not a roofer, so how the heck am I going to develop, like, help them with their sales process or things like that?" It's like, yeah, you can always find a solution. You can always help in different ways. I'm not saying you have to be like good at freaking estimating, but even, for example, what you just said, you just created like an asset that basically helps get more reviews, gets more referrals, and all these different things that are just like small little solutions. Not every solution is going to be like a revolutionary new thing that you've come up with. Like
yeah,
consultants, not only in this realm, but like in big business, enterprise level business, all they do is find different solutions for them, whether that's something they develop or something that already exists, and brings it to the client's attention and say, we should implement this. This will help with X, X, and X.
and one thing that's exactly right. And one thing I'd say too is like a lot of people in like home service or small business space are generally a little bit older, and they like to rock old school, right? But old school doesn't always work, because younger people are starting to buy houses and they prefer new school methods.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, when it comes down to like sales and actually being able to communicate value, it's the same across the board. It doesn't matter the industry. It doesn't matter. People buy when they understand. And so one thing that I've helped with is I've taken my sales process, turned it into an SOP, changed the words, and given it to my roofers as a training for sales. And it works really well, right? Because it's the same method, it's the same idea. And my objection handling worksheet is now their objection handling worksheet.
That's
It's just
amazing.
tailored a little bit more towards. So it's the same thing. And what's crazy is it works. And so that's the beauty of it. It's like you have a lot of the, especially if you're an agency owner that like bought a program and learned like sales and these kinds of things, you have everything that you need to just like change a few words in there and sell it to them as like additional course trainings and these kinds of things that they would never buy on their own. But without it, they're actually missing out. And like they actually do need it, because some of these guys don't know how to close.
Yeah.
But I give them trainings on how to close. Bam, they're closing at 50%.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's insane. Your roofers are making a lot of money, man.
They are. We make them print.
Sweet. Cool. So let's touch on like surrounding yourself with the right people and how that's affected your business and stuff like that after joining CP. And yeah, basically being around like some killers, because you basically went from kind of like I wouldn't say a beginner, but like you had your agency, but you weren't really scaling in the way that you wanted to all of a sudden you're like people are now looking up to you, asking you questions, like, you're
Yeah,
sharing
it's wild.
advice. Like that's been really cool to see just on my side, in
Yeah,
general. But yeah, man, I mean, maybe if you want to touch on that.
I love that. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. Um, yeah, so I would say, I would say, sorry, that's kind of surreal. I'm still processing what you said. I love that.
It's
Yeah,
cool, man. No, it's true.
yeah, all I was doing before was like calling Tyler and asking him questions, and now people ask me questions. Um, uh, for anyone that doesn't know, Tyler's another person in the CP. Before I was able to join the Mastermind, we both joined AP together, and so he was a little bit ahead of me. But I'm catching up. I'm
Catching
gonna
up.
destroy him in 2025. Um, but yeah, so I would say. Um, I completely forgot your question. Oh, being around killers. Okay, yeah. So one thing that's really big for me is like making sure that I'm never like the smartest or the best person in the room because that's when the cap happens, right? And so if I'm in the gym and I'm the biggest person in the gym, I don't look that great. All right, I'm in a bad gym. I need to switch gym. So there's no inspiration, right? So one of the biggest things for me about being around like really successful people is like being able to see that there's so much more growth that's available for me. I haven't capped it, right? I haven't capped a saturated market or I haven't whatever this and that,
Yeah.
right? There's another person in CP that's doing absolute insane numbers in the same industry. Okay, who knows? Maybe I could absorb all of their clients at some point, which would mean that I'm going to be like 5 times as big as I am now. So there's never a limit, right? And not that I would want to do that to her. She's great. But I'm just saying, like, being able to be around people that are doing successful numbers and being a lot higher than me makes me feel like, okay, good. There's a lot more room for me to grow. And it's a breath of fresh air for me, which I really do like. And that's another reason why I really like traveling, especially to nice places, going to Switzerland, going to Marbella, going to these things and seeing like crazy yachts that are the size of like 5 mansions put in one. And I'm like, oh my God, that's great. Like somebody's chilling up on there. They put the money they made in a weekend into this boat and now they're just chilling there. And I see them and I'm like waving at them. Right. Like those guys being able to see that and realize like I've come a long way, but there's so much more growth that's possible is the most inspiring and exciting part for me. But then on top of that, like being able to actually communicate with those people one on one is something that you can't get on the street. I can't go up and talk to that guy on the yacht as much as I'd like to. He'd probably send me to jail, right?
Yeah.
But in a mastermind setting, you actually can interact and you can learn and you can grow from each other. And so it's like the best of both worlds. You can see people that are doing better and learn from them, but actually like genuinely speak to them and recognize what they're doing that you're not and be able to implement these kinds of things. I mean, I gained so much knowledge and information in those 3 days, 4 days, something like that. That I mean, since then I've when was that? Like a week ago?
I
2 weeks
2 weeks
3 weeks
ago.
ago?
Yeah, yeah.
2 weeks ago? Yeah, I've gotten like 3 PIFs since then. I've done like 30 grand since then. Because I've learned so much, right? So that's the thing. It's like who would have known like before I you and I started this journey of like, me joining the mastermind and the consulting portion, I wanted to grow and scale. I was thinking about it, but without any accountability and without like the proper frameworks and like a readjustment of my mind, I'd probably be at like still at like 7K right now.
You think
That's
so?
scary to say. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, but probably no. Yeah, probably pretty bad, pretty bad, pretty low, right? But like
Yeah.
really quickly, what was it? Like maybe 2 months in, just making the right adjustments and having that accountability of like knowing like, oh shit, I'm gonna meet with Nick. I need to get some shit together. I was able to go to like 10 or 20K from like 5K in like 2 months or something, right? Something
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
something pretty quick. I think it was like 20K in 2 months because I remember that was the initial one of the initial goals, and then we were like, well,
Yeah.
We still got
Yeah.
10 months of working together, so we should probably raise the goal.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. So yeah, so I'd say like being having that accountability and like knowing that I'm gonna meet these people like now that I know that I'm gonna be at this mastermind again next year and I'm gonna see these people again, I know that I need to be like I need to get to that next level because I'm not gonna let myself be the one guy that's there at the mastermind that hasn't grown since last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really nice, healthy pressure. I think it's like the best kind of pressure. It's not like shit, I need to pay rent kind of pressure. It's like I want my crew to like, I want the crew at the mastermind to be like, oh damn, that's kind of sick, Daniel. Can we get some info on how you did that? I don't know those kinds of combos. Um, and then yeah, so to kind of like recap everything that I'd say is like really valuable to me in terms of like being around really killers and great working people is the understanding that I'm never capped. Like there's
Yeah.
always more to go. And it's super inspiring and really easy to feel that when you see it right in front of you. It's like the person that I'm literally shaking hands with right now is doing 5 times as much as I am in the same industry. This is great.
Yeah.
I love that. Right. And then to the same effect, you actually get to interact with them and learn from them and get like, chat it up, bro it out, all of these things in a mastermind setting where you would never really be able to do that in any other setting. Like if I were to
Yeah.
try to pay one of these people for their time, my whole reoccurring revenue would be gone, right? First meeting. No, I'm just playing. But like, still it's like it's really great to be able to share and bounce ideas off of each other and learn and grow and feel inspired. And then also have that healthy pressure of like I want to be better and do better so that next year I can impress these people and impress myself. And so I'd say those are some of the biggest things for me that I get out of being in environments like that for sure.
Yeah, same. I think it's super important. So to give everyone context here, I just hosted a 3-day event and had everyone in CP come down, and it was a super fun event. I'd say we worked really hard, but we also played really hard and made some great relationships. And I think that's the thing that people don't really understand too. It's like it's one thing to absorb content, right? Like we did some content sessions and whatever, that was cool. But when you're at dinner with someone and like you said, they're doing significantly more revenue and you're just like there at a dinner table getting to pick their brain on little things, it it changes something in like your subconscious because I don't know why, but I can't really explain it. But every time I've gone to a mastermind, I come back and I make more money. And it's like the
Yeah.
same with you. You just like flew to Barcelona the next day and like made more money.
That's right.
So it's something about just being in environments like that. And I think it honestly just comes down to like you're downloading like their habits, how their views are on certain things like in their business, right? Or how they handle problems or how they're running little things like that you just can't talk about at a high level. And I think when we have like that many people in a room together, like there's just so many good ideas that people are helping each other out with. And that type of collaboration is just very tough to create, like when you're not meeting each other in person and spending time with each other, developing actual friendships with each other and things like that. Because yeah, I mean, like even when we were just like hanging out doing like going out for dinner at the restaurant there, we still ended up talking business and some personal stuff, but everything in between that, I think it all kind of like it all just kind of like fuses together in a sense.
Yeah. And another thing that you reminded me of is like not only do I get to learn about their business side of things, but I also get to learn about what these high earners, like how they behave habit wise on a day-to-day basis and the kind of things that you would never really learn unless you were to be able to interact with them in person. And it's like, oh wow, this is really great. Like, I could implement some of these habits and some of these things into my daily life and be able to see that kind of success, which you never really get in a even in like a course that were to break it down. Like it's only really accessible through being able to interact with winners in person.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's little things. It's one thing to like see it versus experience it, and when you experience
Yeah.
it, you internalize it significantly more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, one thing I want to experience is a massage chair in my living room every day. That's what I want to
Couple more piffs, dude.
experience. That's right.
Well, first you actually got to stop traveling and have a home base.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
step
there you
one.
go. Yeah. That's another cool thing about the freedom of being able to like genuinely have a high earning consulting business is I can start to look and like, I'm not limited by anything or any location or any country or whatever. Like I can look and maybe even price shop across the globe and find what resonates most with my habits and my soul and my, actually who I am as a person, which I think is really neat. It's like not just the freedom of being able to travel places, but the freedom of being able to live in a place that's most in line with my purpose and who I am and what I love and appreciate.
Yeah, that's sweet, dude. I'm happy for you, man. So, what's some of the goals over the next few months? Because maybe we do another one where we catch up again.
Yeah. That's great. I would say that I would like to be, I've grown pretty fast um in the last few months. So I think a big goal for me would be to make sure that I can like hire and outsource and place people within my side of the business to sustain all of the growth really well and then be able to scale from there. So I think that I would like to be dancing between like probably 75 to 100K a month while having even more time to myself with killers in every part of the business, right? I need
Straight
a
A
Ben for
players.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. I need A players for everything, right? I need A players in every department and then be consistently doing like that range. I think 75 to 100K a month would be really sweet.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a great goal, and I think we're gonna get there in the next few months. I don't think you're.
Yeah.
I don't think you're
Let's do
far off
it.
from it. So it's sweet, man.
Thanks.
Awesome, dude. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I think we've covered a lot in this video. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we call it?
What I would say is, as much as you might think that you can do it on your own, you've come so far on your own, this and that, even the greatest musicians, artists, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, whatever, they all have coaches, right? Even the
Yeah,
greatest business owners, they have mentors. Even the greatest athletes, they have their athletic coaches. Just because they're a gold medal Olympic athlete doesn't mean that they don't still have a coach when they go back home, right?
yeah,
So I think that the best cheat code in the world, seriously, is going to someone that has already done what you want to do, or is even better, taking other people to where you want to be on a consistent basis and just paying them for that information and that time and that experience. And like I said earlier, if I would have not joined this program and just kept going at it, yeah, one day I'll be at 10K a month.
yeah,
I I probably would still be saying that. I'll be there one day,
yeah,
right? But growth doesn't have to be a slow, terrible burn. Okay, it's like it can happen really quickly when you actually do the right things, and it can take time to learn the right things, or you can just pay someone who's already taken the time to learn the right things. And even better, you can pay to be a part of a community where everyone is all learning the right things. And then all of a sudden you've gone from paying for one person's lifetime worth of experience to having 10, 20, 30 people's lifetimes worth of experience. And so you're able to put all of these different things together so quickly and scale. And that's why I really believe that it's not about time that helps you grow. It's about just using the right information and actually implementing that helps you grow. And the best way to get that information is by paying for it, right?
100%. I agree. I agree with that. Something I've always preached for myself is just paying for shortcuts and learning
Yeah, it's
and
great.
scaling up quicker. I mean, why not? If people have already walked the path, you may as well have the roadmap. So,
Yeah, I think it's more risky to try to do it on your own than to just spend the money to do it through someone that's already proven it, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like a no-brainer.
exactly.
So,
Exactly. So, it'll be good. And yeah, this mastermind was super fun. I think everyone, made great relationships. And like you said, everyone kind of learns from each other and you get access to a whole room of people who are doing great numbers and basically get to share different tactics, strategies, but also like life advice too. I think that's super important.
right.
Yeah. So the other fun thing is we've decided next year, as you know, it's going to be Portugal. So that's going to be super insane. I think,
So,
dude, it's going to be insane.
yeah.
So that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I'm so excited.
It'll be good.
It'll Yeah, I think it'll be really really great. And it'll be fun too to be able to see where everybody is at that point and then be able to meet some new faces that decided that they're ready to take that next step, which is actually being able to play with the A players, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Awesome. Okay, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And hopefully, for those that are watching and made it this far, you guys got lots of value out of it. And shout out to Daniel, and he's gonna keep scaling. So we'll do a catch up again in a few months and see where you're at, man.
All right. Sounds great. Let's do
Awesome.
it.
All right. Let me